In this short piece, I want to set up, particularly for non-dyslexic employers, some sort of outline understanding of just how complex the process of reading, spelling, writing, comprehending, all the things we've talked about are, how many mental processes are involved, and the number of points in which those mental processes that touch each other can fail, which explains why there is no single definition of dyslexia and therefore no single resolution, but a number of points along the way at which intervention is possible to improve the situation. So think of it like this. Think of how you come to learn to spell and get meaning from the word cat. So somewhere in your deep past as an infant, you will have seen a cat and you will have pointed at the cat. So number one, your eyes have got to be operating to take the light that falls onto the cat into your head and to create an image, first on the retina and then in the brain, in short and long-term memory, of that thing that you see. And as you continue to point at it and interact with it, you'll hear voices, adult voices around you, saying the word cat, cat, that's a cat. And over time, you will link the word, the word cat, or the sound, at least, cat. If you're in France, it'll be chat. So you'll link the image with the sound.
Cat.
And that takes quite a lot of mental processing. There's a bit of the brain that manages that. And then over time, you will learn yourself to say cat in response to seeing this image, and then in time being able to recall the image from memory and saying the word cat. See, more and more mental processes involved just to get to this point. Then eventually you will be asked to convert this sound cat into letters on a page, and you'll be shown how to do a C, a k, and then an a, and then a t, even though they're pronounced C, A and T as capitals. Very confusing, but the brain learns how to decipher these differences for normal readers. For others, the brain doesn't do that. So now we've got another very complex process going on. We've got to be able to recognize that a black curvy mark on a piece of paper, you've got to be able to recognize that and be able to convert that into the sound k, and then a, and then t, and make the connection between the image, the sound, the symbols on the page, and then send that into short and long-term memory and be able to link cat to other words. I saw a cat. The cat is in the house. Lots of very complex things going on here. And then beyond that, we've got to recognize that a thing with ears and fur and a tail and four legs might not necessarily be a cat. It might be a variant of that. It might be a fox. So now we have to learn about categorization. Where does the cat end and the fox begin? All right, so this is not a particularly scientific representation of the complexity of reading and writing. A scientific one would be even more mind-boggling than this. The point is, we cannot take for granted that reading and writing is something that we all do, A, in the same way, and B, with the same degree of effort. For some, different parts of this process are more difficult than others and require more processing power. So in this piece, I'll use one metaphorical analogy to try and make the point. Imagine that each of these processes, seeing the thing, hearing the sound, representing it on the page, linking it to meaning and memory, each of those is like having a window open on a computer. And as more windows open, more computing resources required from the processor. By analogy, in the human brain, the more steps that are required and the more effort required at each step to complete the process of being lexic, reading and writing, the more that's required, the more pressure is placed on the brain, on the central processing unit, if you like. So if a person struggling with dyslexia is then faced with additional tasks, i.e. during the middle of one exercise, something else springs in from the side and says, can you do this as well? There's not necessarily the available bandwidth or computing power to do this with ease. Therefore, the sense of overload can build. That's just one simple analogy. It's like having too much traffic on the roads, if you like. It suddenly gets snarled up, and the normal journey gets disrupted. So I'm trying to represent this in a sort of graphical kind of a way, so that non-dyslexics can start to get some kind of feel for the complexity and have an understanding for the kind of struggle that a dyslexic person is going through, but recognize that at each of those points, some people believe there are 69 different variations of what it means to be dyslexic, but at some point along the way we can discover what's going wrong and put a fix in place to improve overall function. That's what we're going to do through this course. Look at where those points are and make some suggestions for how they can be improved.